Hey, this is Mark Nejma, and I'm here to talk to you about a bunch of things today. There's so many things on my mind lately, things that are in the news, my country, things that are happening around the world. But right now, let's talk about ENDPQ stock. Well, as it looks, stockholders may actually be getting some money from this bankruptcy. Apparently, there's been up to 7 different plans submitted, and the latest plan seems to show that there was excess assets to go to the shareholders. Now, I'm not sure if I would choose a cash payout if it was a choice between cash payout or hold shares and move to the new company. I personally would probably hold the shares and let it move to the new company. I think it is and always was a good company. I think that the CEO and staff played this perfectly. They did the job for the company, keeping it alive, keeping the employees going, and continuing their development of new drugs and of producing generic drugs in India and elsewhere. Um, Pretty smart people here, and that's why I voted to keep them in place as uh, as board of directors and company management. Now, going back to the past, there were so many people that were just saying they're crooks, they're criminals, put them in jail. I mean, that was all a bunch of smoke and mirrors. I do believe that the majority of people on the inside knew exactly what was going to happen. It was a brilliant play for them to make a political deal with the United States. Uh, Once again, I will tell you that I do think that this probably won't end until after the Purdue verdict. Um, we really don't know 100% of exactly what will happen. But what we do know is that if any of you were the CEO of the company, you would have, if you were smart enough, played this game exactly the way they played it. And that is to make the company survive. Um, there's so many different things to be thinking about today in America as an investor or just as a citizen of the world. We have protests from young people that seem to be completely uninformed of the facts uh, that are pro-Hamas, pro-Palestine, and anti-America. To me, it seems like these people are anarchists. Why do I bring this up? I bring it up because they're anarchists. They don't want to see capitalism continue. They keep pointing out colonialism, which is really progressing forward, spreading your style of life into other areas. Our ally, Israel, who has a similar form of government as we do, not perfect, but you know, after what they went through with the Holocaust, losing 6 million Jews, of course their back is up. Uh, After many years, I'm 64 years old now. After many years of watching the continuation of the Holocaust with the Palestinians and other actions by other countries against the Jews, I would say that Israel has exactly every right to have done what they've done. And personally, I think that Netanyahu should stop hesitating and he should go into Rafah and do what he has to do. I don't think Palestine at this point deserves uh, a, a country. I don't think there should be a two-state solution. I think that Israel should exist. They should take over Gaza. They should take over the West Bank. And anybody living in those territories should be citizens of Israel. Now, let me make myself clear. I am half Arabic and I'm half Mexican. I am not Jewish, but I'm logical. I have watched since the 1970s when I became aware of a number of hijackings. I saw the Olympics disrupted as they attacked Israeli participants. I saw people killed. I saw America living in fear. And granted, at the same time, I saw the IRA, blowing up planes and doing stupid crap too over their plight. But they were nothing but terrorists. The IRA was terrorists, and so are the Palestinians. And they're not going to change. They will endlessly try to kill Jews, and that's not acceptable. As far as what's happening in America on college campuses, it is disgraceful. Sorry to use the same word that Trump used. I'm not on his side on this subject. I'm on my own side. But uh, I grew up in a very blue-collar environment, and I saw the lifestyle of Jewish families fighting their way to get ahead. And, education, family was the key. And they were just an asset to our community, just as we tried to be an asset to the community as well. The Italian families, the Polish family, the Scottish families. I can start naming names of families that just were unbelievable. The English, the everyone was just on one trajectory. Let's educate our kids. Let's get ahead. And to be quite honest with you, everybody got along. There was no hate between us. And it's a shame to see how America has changed, especially with these so-called Ivy League schools, which I consider these students to be ridiculous, just following the lead of the 1960s hippies who absolutely did nothing for this country except spit in the face of soldiers that went to war to try to fight against communism. And yes, the Vietnam War was lost, but it was lost from inside the country, just as these actions are trying to destroy America from inside our country. Even though these protesters don't carry guns and are not necessarily yet, bombing places and to killing people. I do remember the Boston Marathon. I remember the first 9/11, not 9/11, but World Trade Center attack. This just doesn't end. And I think that if Netanyahu does not take out Rafah and just eliminate so-called state of Palestine, it's just never going to end. And we just can't go on. The Arabic countries next to the Palestinians, they don't want them. This is just violence, and it's never ever going to end until people learn a lesson and are controlled. Now, again, why would I talk about this today? Well, because it's on my mind, and I think that it's just horrible that we can just forget about 9/11. We can forget about the Holocaust. We can forget about the 1972 Olympics. We can forget about the hijackings. We can forget that communism is spreading across South America. We can forget about how China has grabbed onto capitalism to fit their needs, but to destroy America. And there's several other things too. I mean, look at Amazon. Amazon is destroying small business in this country. It's just endless and suspicious to me that we just let these things happen. And you knew they were going to happen. We have the weakest president ever in office, and people are just running over him. Back when Trump was in office, I remember this woman, Kathy, coming up to me and saying, "Oh, Trump is going to cause a world war, and because he's putting tariffs on China." Well, that never happened. Because of that politician's strength, things were in order. And then with COVID, I mean, let's take a look at COVID, okay? And you may think I'm rattling on, but I'm really not. COVID implemented fear, and then they implemented masks, right? So the masks were supposed to protect you from this disease, but the fact of the matter is the mask gave people strength because they could hide behind the mask and they could all be unified. That was not just about a virus. That was about unifying people. This is a plan. This has been going on for years now. They wanted to make sure that mask represented a strength, a unity against America, against free speech, which is another subject. My God, I try to have conversations with people on the street, not on the street, in groups that I belong to. Everybody's, "Oh, no, don't talk about it." Well, I say that's wrong. You have to talk about it, just like I'm talking to you about stocks. People say, "Oh, that guy just wants to make money on YouTube." I haven't made a dime on YouTube, not a penny. I just want to have a voice and reflection back from people that watch me, and so we can talk about things to resolve things. And let's talk about ENDPQ. I think we talked about a lot of things on these videos. One, I thought that ENDPQ would go back on the NASDAQ, and it looks like it's going to. Two, I thought that the company was going to be buying back shares as this company went down, and I think they did. I thought that stock twits is a way to manipulate you, and it is, as well as all the other social media. I just wrote something recently on my hiking group, and I said, social media is not free speech. It's a way for the weak minds to be manipulated into believing what is told on social media. It can't be used anymore. Throw it away. You want to say something, write it on a piece of paper and leave it in a coffee shop. Let somebody find it. That'll be your free speech if you're afraid to speak up. But I think people have to speak, particularly about stocks. How are we going to keep capitalism alive in this country? How are we going to keep fairness in the markets unless we disclose who we are with our opinions and do research and share that research honestly as who we are? My name is Mark Nejma from newsweed.com. That's who I am. My phone number is 215-219-7699. You want to talk to me? Call me. You want to send me an email? Send it to newsweed.com@gmail.com. I'll send you an email back. That's how you make things fair. And that's how you find out you're wrong when you talk and listen. And that's how you find out, in this particular case, how to make money in the stock market. Are you just going to believe what you're told about some guy that 5 bots made you believe that he was the smartest guy on these text-based stock boards? Or are you going to do your own research and get opinions from various people that are investors, that have money at stake, that put their face on camera and are not afraid to talk to you? I think ENDPQ, which is now going to turn into Endo Inc., which came from Endo International, is going to consider saving its goodwill and good name, and the shares are going to either be paid as a cash basis, which will probably be low, or you'll probably have the option to get shares in a new company, which is what I want. That's all I have to say. What a frustrating day just watching everything. And I have to say one more thing. My God, you could see the political corruption. They have this guy up on trial, supposedly for a payoff that had an NDA in it, right? So I say something to you. You know my buddy in Indiana. I say, listen, I'm going to give you $5,000, but you're going to sign an NDA and say I didn't give it to you, or you're not allowed to say I gave it to you. Why am I giving it to you? I don't know. You need a car or something. I don't want anybody to know that I'm helping you out. And you know who I'm talking about. I talk to you all the time on the phone. You're one of my YouTube followers, right? So what if we had that deal? And then later, I'm brought to court, or you're brought to court, and, you say, oh, there was $5,000, blah, blah, blah. That's basically what happened with this case that's in New York. It was their own money to pay someone to be quiet because they were running for office, which is perfectly legal, right? Just the way Biden stopped people from believing that the laptop and there was any criminal activity and so forth. I mean, people, don't you see the corruption that's happening? The game we're playing here with the stock market could disappear overnight. Overnight. If you keep listening to people that are anonymous on stock boards, it's over. It's completely over. Even journalism is dead. There's no newspapers. Send me a newspaper in your town that actually has real news. You don't have any. I mean, if I could turn a newspaper into something that made a profit, I'd be printing every day, because people need to hear other sources of information. So anyway, I'm done rambling on. There's so much injustice in the world. Let's try to keep the stock market a just place by not being anonymous, by not trying to manipulate, because it could be over. It could be over if this continues. Thanks. This is Mark from Newsweek.com. Good luck to everyone. I don't know any more than you know. I just have ideas. Mark from Newsweek.com. Good night.